This is our final meetup of the year, and we're going to be doing a recap of what 2024 has been for XSITE Capital. And the tune you just heard, I know some of you kind of came in late. The tune you just heard is like a kind of encompasses what XSITE Capital is all about. XSITE Capital was founded because we saw that we could use our 9 to 5 really as an opportunity to build for ourselves. Not just use our 9 to 5 as somewhere where we stock into, but somewhere it could become like a leverage platform where we use that to capitalize and grow. And realizing that a lot of other members of our professional community as well, a lot of us have been sold the traditional path, the traditional part of going to school, getting a job, working extremely hard and hoping that someday you'll be able to save enough to retire and take care of yourself or cut back on your expenses. And whereas there's a particular group of others in this same society that live life in a different way, a fulfilling life, not just a life that ends when you're done with your career, but a life that ends on the day that you decide that the day that you exit this world. We sought out to create this platform to provide opportunities for others to be able to create that vehicle where you could create wealth for yourself, and it's really special every time we have this presentation and have all of you here today. I see on the attendance list we have a lot of you are investors. Some of you that have been with us from the beginning of this journey, that have been with us through every piece that we've walked through. So I cannot say thank you enough, for you guys for everything that for being part of this journey and for being part of this dream of bringing institutional grade assets to members of our community. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started with this presentation and celebrating growth and success beyond boundaries in 2024. So, to say the least, 2024 was like a defining year for XSITE Capital. We could pretty much say this about almost year that we've been in business, but 2024 was a very, very unique year because of the challenges that we faced along the way and how those challenges helped us in growing. So so sometimes it is the people no one imagines anything of who really do the things that no one can imagine. When we started this, again, starting out three young professionals thinking of going and bringing institutional grade assets, setting all these big goals, anybody could have looked at us and said, no, this is impossible. You guys cannot do it. But with diligence, continuous hard work, which is exemplified with what we did here in 2024, we continue to break these boundaries and we continue to move forward and continue to grow. At XSITE Capital, there's no way that we do anything that we do without you. And when I'm talking about you, I'm talking about you, the 8,000 members of our growing community. I'm talking about you, the hundreds of members that have invested with us on these deals. I'm talking about you, the amazing investors that go out and advocate and refer and talk to other people about what we do and continue to bring more people to this community so we can all grow together and continue to grow our world together. So I cannot say on behalf of my partners, Dr. Julius Oni, Tenny Tolofari, and our entire team at XSITE Capital, I cannot say thank you enough. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for walking with us on this path. It hasn't been an easy path. It's not an easy journey, but the only way we could walk through it is because we know the people that we serve. And the people that we serve continue to give us this energy and continue to push us to continue to grow and bring more value to our community. So at XSITE Capital, we have very big dreams. And to accomplish these dreams, we set ambitious goals, right? We came into 2024 with an ambitious goal of closing three $50 million deals. Even though 2023 was a very challenging year, we never let that determine how we set the goals, because we set goals that help us grow to become a company that is capable of achieving that goal. Stepping into this range of acquiring a $50 million deal means that we're stepping into the range of acquiring institutional grade assets. These are assets that traditionally have been reserved for institutions, large institutions that get access to these assets and they're able to provide these assets as vehicles of investments to members of their community, right? So we stepped into 2024 with the goal of breaking into that institutional circle, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy finding these assets that we were going to bring to our investors. So we spent a lot of time digging, analyzing, looking at a lot of deals, trying to find the deals that made sense, right? We reviewed over 2,325 deals before we could find Grove Park View, the deal that we were able to bring to our investors. It took a lot of work from our team. I remember our underwriters were reviewing a ton of deals, but none of it was making sense because 2023, 2024 has been a transitional year for multifamily, where we see a significant decrease in values, and there was a disconnect between the buyers and the sellers. But we stayed disciplined in our approach of reviewing deals. We made sure that we were looking for a deal that actually made sense that we could present to our investors. And that took us going over 2,000 deals before we're finally able to find the deal that we are finalizing on right now, which is Grove Park View. Grove Park View, $268 million deal, 268 unit deal in Atlanta, Georgia, appraised in April 2022 for $60 million. And we were able to put it under contract for $49.1 million. That is about $11 million less than what it was appraised for at the peak. Coming into this cycle, like 2024 has been one of the most challenging years for multifamily investing. Depending on what side of the market you are in, if you are an owner, super challenging, and I'm going to go over it and give you some examples in some of our assets that we had. If you're a buyer, great time to be in the market because these assets are now being traded at a 25 to 35% discount from their peak. And Grove Park View is a great example of that. And we saw that because we had been in the market working hard continuously, underwriting these deals and seeing the changes that were happening from one asset to another. We saw that and we jumped in and we were able to secure Grove Park View and put it under contract for our investors, right? And again, great things about the asset: provides 15 to 18% average annual returns to our investors, 27% depreciation loss. With of recent, they just announced the plan, the Rivian plan that is coming into that area, which is just going to bring in more jobs to this area and more demand. So located in a great school district, and as of today, I am very, very proud to say that we have secured 19. As of today, we have secured subscriptions of 19, commitments of $19.6 million towards the $22.3 million raise that we need for this property. That is $19.6 million that we have secured in commitments for my investors to acquire these assets of the $22.3 million raise that is required for this deal. And if you've been anywhere in the multifamily market, if you've looked at anywhere in the multifamily market right now, raising capital to close deals, this is probably one of the most challenging climates. It's definitely the most challenging climate when it comes to capital raising that since we've been in business. Coming out of the election cycle and going into the changes that are happening in the economy and the market, raising capital has been a huge challenge, but we have done it successfully. And there's absolutely no way we would have been able to do this without the trust of you, our investors, without the trust of you, everybody that is going out there and talking to your friends, to your family members, to other people about what XSITE Capital is doing and coming up to be part of it. So again, I cannot say thank you enough for the trust that you've bestowed on us. The journey that we've taken to bring these assets to our community is not an easy one. Trust me, it requires a lot of work. But we are ready to put in that work and continue to deliver to you, our investors. So our investors are the light and day of everything that we do. There will be absolutely no XSITE Capital if we didn't have the community that wanted to serve. The whole concept of XSITE Capital came about because we saw a community that was in need of access into this asset class, and we created this platform to serve that community. And we are grateful that with this community, we are breaking, we are breaking into markets We are acquiring all these great assets, and we're able to provide value back to the members of our community. And that community has grown significantly in 2024. We started this year with about 5,500 members of our community, and we're ending the year with over 8,000 members of our community. A lot of new members that are coming in, learning about what we do. Most of them, some of them are investors, some of them are just coming in to learn, to get this knowledge and be able to transfer this knowledge to each other. We say our goal is to create generational wealth. And the truth, I believe, is that generational wealth is not just in assets and returns. Generational wealth is in the knowledge that we share as we acquire along this journey, and we pass that along to other members. So that community continues to grow, and we continue to educate and provide value to members of our community. We have grown to over 300 passive investors. These are investors that have actively invested in our deals. Like, this is major. Right? I remember when we started, even finding one investor to raise capital from one investor, we were unable to. But over these 5 years, we have grown, and with Growth Back View and all the new investors that are coming into the deal, our investor base has grown to over 300 active investors. These are people that have actually contributed capital to our deals. That is up about 150 from 2023. So, and what are these investors getting? These investors are investing in actual assets that provide returns to them, that help you grow your money passively. And like I mentioned, 2024 was probably it's been one of the most challenging years in multifamily investing. 2024 is the year of capital calls. 2024 has been the year of asset foreclosures. 2024 has been the year where some multifamily investors have lost their money on deals, right? Deals that were bought with risky debt in the past, and some of those deals have gone under. Other deals that have been struggling, and the operators have had to make capital calls, which is reaching out to investors and asking for more capital. We are very grateful to report that despite all those headwinds, despite all those challenges, we've managed our assets diligently. We haven't done any capital call. We have no assets that are at risk for foreclosure, and we've had to pause distributions on some of our assets, but these assets continue to perform very well, and we're getting them in the right direction. And on some of our other assets are doing extremely well, and the investors continue to grow their wealth on those assets. So I'm just going to go into brief detail about some of these assets, some of the numbers that we're seeing. Starting with 101 Elwood. 101 Elwood was the last deal that we acquired before putting Growth Back View under contract. We acquired 101 Elwood December of 2022, and it was distressed when we took over this asset. 101 Elwood, when we took over this asset, it had like a bunch of unqualified tenants on there, and the whole play was for us to stabilize this asset. But it was a challenging stabilization play. This asset at one point dropped to about 77% occupancy, where we had to evict over 30 tenants that were non-paying. So that stabilization process took us longer than what we anticipated, but we were able to get all those unqualified tenants out and transition this asset into a more stable demographic. We have a lot of physicians, residents, and nurses that are moving to this area. And we started the year in January of 2024 with 85% occupancy. And as of now, we are ending the year with 93% occupancy, which is a significant growth from where we started. Fully stabilized asset now with much more quality tenants. And you can see an evidence of that in the delinquency numbers that we had. At the peak, at one point, delinquency on 101 Elwood was about $41,000. These are unqualified tenants that we then inherited, and we had to stabilize and get them out. And of those tenants, we were able to get rid of all the unqualified tenants and bring in some high quality tenants. And as of now, January of this year, our delinquency was about $10,000. Now it's down to about $2,000, which is unheard of, which is like really, really good for the Baltimore market. And you can see our revenue as well started the year gross revenue of $212,000, but that has increased by about $30,000 as we look at this month, and that number continues to increase. So we have successfully stabilized that asset, and now it's moving in the right direction, and the investors are good as a position to do really well on this asset because we got it at a good basis up front. Moving on to Ascena Stone Mountain. This has been this is the asset that we acquired in November of 2022. Ascena Stone Mountain has had a different story and been challenging from the management perspective. We started Ascena Stone Mountain actually on a very good note. This was a repositioning play where we bought the asset, we had to reposition it, do like a full renovation of the property, completely transform the property. And at the end of 2023, we were at a good position with this asset where we had completely transformed the asset, completed our exterior value add, and we're doing the unit renovations, and started the year at 91% occupancy. But the headwinds that hit the multifamily market hit on this asset as well. Right. At one point, we experienced as of June of 2024, we were at 91% occupancy, stable and moving in the right direction. Then from July, August, September, we saw a significant increase in our delinquency, with a lot of the tenants falling back on paying their rent on time and having to evict a lot of those unqualified tenants. So as of right now, this asset is at 82% occupancy, physically occupied, and 88% leased. So, and one of the challenges that we faced on this asset was like the team on site. We had to transition the whole entire team from the regional property manager to the on-site property manager to the leasing specialist, because we discovered some inefficiencies that came about when we started seeing the underperformance of the asset. So we've transitioned that team out and brought in a more qualified team on site, and we're already seeing the results with the occupancy going up and the revenue numbers going back up. So I anticipate this asset is going to get back to full stabilization in 2024. And with all the changes, with all the great things that are happening in this sub-market, with the Rivian plan that is coming, we anticipate seeing some increases. And the challenges that we face with Ascend, which is on the DeKalb County side of Stone Mountain, is not unique to us. That market struggled a little bit, which is not unusual for like this C-class markets when we get into like economic tailwinds. So that market struggled a little bit, and I'm going to show you guys some comparison numbers as we go along. So the delinquency on this asset as well has been an issue. In January, it started at 23,000. Now it's at 27,000, but we're working really hard to get it down as well. And as you can see, the revenue did drop, but we are on track to get it back up. So the goal going into 2025 with Ascena Stone Mountain will be to get it like fully stabilized, get these numbers back up, and get it in a strong position where we could either refinance the debt or exit. And Land Bank Lofts, this is the asset that we own in Columbia, South Carolina, 113 units. Excellent, great asset. Land Bank Loft has been the shining light and armor of our portfolio since we got it, except when we had the View, which did really well as well. And kind of similar asset to Grove Park View asset, where it has stability up front. It's already stable, performing really well, and has an opportunity for continuous growth. Whereas when you look at other assets that I just went about, those were like some sort of opportunistic investment where Elwood was destabilized. We came in to stabilize it. Ascena Stone Mountain was like way below market, and we came in and repositioned it. Land Bank Lofts, Grove Park View, these are more stable assets that are already producing income and has opportunities for us to grow that income over time. And Land Bank Loft, excellent, did wonderful in 2024. I see a few of you here that are Land Bank Lofts investors, and you guys have seen the evidence of that. We are outpacing our cash flow on this asset as well. Occupancy has been stable. We started the year at 95% occupancy. We're ending the year at 95% occupancy. That 95% number sounds very familiar because Grove Park View has stayed 95% occupied on average for the last 10 years as well. Delinquency on land bank lots is pretty much non-existent. We started the year at $1,300, and now it's about $250. The income, the revenue continues to increase on land bank lots as well, and we anticipate that will continue on as we move on to the business cycle. So this is a great asset. It's doing really well, very stable, and doing fantastically very well as an investment for our investors. Now we look at Elevate and the Griffin here. Elevate on Main Street and the Griffin, these are two assets where we partnered on with another group, and we have investors in this deal as well. Elevate, well, we started the year with Elevate. The main thing, Elevate was a deal that had a loan that was expiring. So the goal for Elevate was to refinance the loan. So I'm happy to report that we've successfully executed the refinance on Elevate, and they had to pause distributions on Elevate for a little bit, but those distributions have resumed, and investors are getting their distributions now on time. The asset itself is doing really well. Revenue on the asset continues to grow. The value add plan on the asset was executed really well, with getting rent bumps from anywhere to $300 to as high as $400 on renovated units. So the investors on this asset are doing well. The loan has been refinanced, so now it's just about just giving it time for the market to readjust, and then we exit as well. The Griffin is a 49-unit property in Washington, D.C. as well. This was our first acquisition as co-GPs back in 2019. So the Griffin, the DC market experienced some challenges as well in 2024. So on the Griffin, they had to pause distributions, but that market is restabilizing. The business plan for the Griffin is to transition those units into condominiums. And that process of transitioning these individual units into condominiums is going to start in 2025. We're going to start evaluating the market and looking at whatever renovations or whatever paperwork or administrative paperwork that needs to get done to get done, and then start transitioning slowly and start selling some of those units individually as condos. And if you know anything about the DC market, it's one of those markets that is positioned to rebound like really, really well in the next few years. Appreciation is really high in the DC market. So we anticipate that the investors on the Griffin at the end are going to do really well. So just as a synopsis of all the assets, as you guys can see, one of the great things about investing in these multifamily assets is the true diversification that you get when you invest across assets. The performance of one asset does not determine the performance of another asset. As you can see across our portfolio, we have assets that are doing really well, and we have assets that have a different business plan, that are on a different stage of those business plan. Now, don't be surprised if some of those assets that may be struggling right now, like Ascend and Stone Mountain, on exit, the investors end up doing way better than, for example, an asset like Land Bank that started off doing really well. So the great thing to our investors, and part of the education that we provide, is the great thing about diversifying across these assets is that you get true diversification, because what's happening in one asset does not determine what's happening in the other assets. And a business plan is 5 years for a reason, because within those 5 years, there can be headwinds and tailwinds. But with real estate, as you know, as long as it's managed properly and we focus on that income, at the end is what matters. So all of these assets are on track to deliver the returns that we projected to our investors. So let's look at some market trends as it compares to the assets that we had, just to bring this home about some of the challenges that we faced in the real estate market in 2024. Looking at these numbers, like we're looking at occupancy trends. Occupancy trends. So as you can see with occupancy trends, So as you can see with occupancy trends, this is where the market is at, and this is where some of the assets that we've been at. So occupancy, for example, the market right now in Baltimore, Baltimore average occupancy is 81.1%. But at 101 Elwood, we are 93% occupied, right? Same thing, Land Bank Lofts, Columbia, South Carolina, average occupancy in that market is 91%, but we are trending at 95%. Same thing with Ascend Stone Mountain. The Cobb County side of Stone Mountain, average occupancy in that market is 83.1%, but we are currently trending at 84.7%. So while some of the assets are struggling, we are outpacing the market, and that is a testament of some of the hard work that we put in on the back end to make sure that we deliver the returns on our investors. Again, like I mentioned, 2024 has been one of the most challenging years for multifamily in the multifamily real estate market, which can be viewed upon on two different perspectives. Whether you're a buyer or an owner, for owners, it has been a challenging year because we've seen a lot of changes, a lot of increase in delinquency, not much on the rent growth side, but these changes and these headwinds, like a lot of experts are predicting that we are at that point where things are changing. We are moving on the opposite side. Like we are about to hit the recovery phase in the market, which is great. Especially you've been able to manage assets through this period. We'll go back into a period where we're seeing maybe an increase in rent growth, which is what a lot of experts are anticipating that we're going to see going into 2025. Same thing with the rent growth, like I mentioned. It hasn't been a strong rent growth year when you look at the different markets. But if you compare that to our assets have done better on the rent growth side, even on the ones that are not doing so great. We are outpacing the market when it comes to rent growth. Multifamily remains, when it comes to commercial real estate investing, I think probably the only other commercial real estate class that is done better than multifamily is industrial. With all the warehouses and the data centers and all that stuff that's coming, all the warehouses that is coming because of Amazon. But multifamily remains like the stable total in the real estate class because we're investing in an asset that caters to core human need. So Moody's is projecting that 2025, we're going to see like an increase in NOI, increase in incomes and revenues for multifamily assets, which is great for us investors. It's great for us owners that are already in these deals, and it's great for you, our newer investors who just joined Growth Pack View. So here are some key lessons that we learned in 2024. Market adaptability. It's always important to stay abreast of what's happening in the market and make adjustments as necessary. For example, at Ascend, we made some quick changes, especially when it comes to the staffing. It required us to be on ground, on site more often, more frequent, be fully involved in the asset. But that is what is needed. Those are some of the challenges that you face that make us better. So we adjusted quickly to the changes in the market and made changes that kept our assets safe and kept our investors safe. Investor communication is key as well. We emphasize the importance of transparency and making sure that we let our investors know everything that's going on in the asset. Good, bad, ugly, beautiful, whatever. We make sure that our investors are aware of every step along the way, all the challenges that we're facing and what we are doing to navigate through those challenges. Again, the 5-year business plan can be very beautiful in the beginning, a little ugly somewhere in the middle, then beautiful at the end. But the goal at the end of our business plan is to make sure that our investors come out on top. And whatever work it takes for us to do that, we do it, and we make the adjustments as we go along. And we make sure that we communicate effectively with our investors as we go along as well. Risk management. We implemented new risk management tools. We continue to improve every single day, whatever tools we need to invest in to make sure that we're staying ahead of the curve, looking at what's happening in the market and making those adjustments as necessary. We continue to do that every single day to get better, and we made huge investments when it comes to the asset management side to make sure that we have the data, the tools and everything that is necessary to make sure that we're managing our assets very well. We brought in more team members on the operations side. We brought in more team members on the back end side to make sure that we have the team in place to continue to manage our assets as well. So, and And the fourth part of our growth here at XSITE Capital, and I kind of alluded to that a little bit, has been our community. Um, I cannot say thank you enough to all of you here that are listening to this webinar, and all of you that continue to log in every first Monday of the month, or the off the cuff other webinars that we do at our Beyond 9 to 5 Club. And listen to us talk and share your experiences, and tell us exactly what you want to learn. That's the reason why we're here. This year, Tenny, myself, we made the commitment, exited our jobs, going full time on XSITE Capital to bring this value to you guys. So it gives us great joy that we're able to bring this value to you, and we plan on continuing to do that. And one of the things that we built this year was the Beyond 9 to 5 Club. We had the unofficial educational platform where we do the meetups and do a lot of other education, but we decided to bring all of that to a more concise environment where we'll be able to give this value to you. It's a premium exclusive community. Our investors get 100% access to it and all the premium tools as well to continue to learn. But it's also open to other members. It's a paid community that other members from the outside can come in and join as well. In the Beyond 9 to 5 Club, our goal is to continue to empower you, our investors, to create that generational wealth in knowledge and education, that knowledge that we could pass down from one generation to another. Everything we are learning. And guys, 2024 has been an amazing year. The things that we've learned, the networks that we've been able to break into because we challenged ourselves, the resources that we've come encounter with because we've been able to challenge ourselves. All this, we give it back to you, members of our community. For those that are willing to learn, that want to grow, or however way you want to get on that journey of transformation, we give that to you in the Beyond 9 to 5 Club. So we do a lot of collaborative learning. We're going to be doing a lot of education going into 2025 as well. Provide a lot of different tools that you can use to drive your success and think beyond your 9 to 5, so because that's what we did. Some of the things that we built, and if you haven't played with one of these yet, please let us know. I'll have my team drop the links in the chat. One of the tools we developed was a Retire Wise calculator. This is a good tool for you, our passive investors, because using this tool, you could determine how much you need to invest every year to get to a point where you create a nest egg that is big enough for you to sustain your life with. Our philosophy of retirement is not about saving a ton of money in an account and get to a certain age and then start digging into that money and being scared that you're going to run out of money at some point in time. What we learn from like the wealthy and other savvy investors is they have their resources in accounts that generate passive income for them in a safe manner. So the whole idea of the Retire Wise calculator is you determine that number that makes sense to you. Let's say it's $200,000 of passive income is what makes sense to you. And then all you need to do is to build your retirement or your nest egg to about $2 million, and you have it in a safe real estate investment as a preferred. Maybe like you could have invested in Growth Parkview as a Class A, and you get your cash flow first, which is almost guaranteed because the asset produces enough cash flow to cover that. And now you're getting your $200,000 a year in passive income, and your principal stays there. So with the Retire Wise calculator, you'll be able to determine how you can get to that number with the kind of returns that the deals are producing, so that you're able to plan yourself and decide, okay, how many deals do I want to invest in a year that provide 15-16% average annual return, and how long is it going to take for me to get there? So these tools are available to you. Please play with it. And our multifamily passive income calculator as well. This one actually shows you how much in income that you're generating every year, how that grows if you decide to reinvest your capital, how that grows over time. So you could use this to be able to figure out. The Retire Wise calculator would help you figure out how much you can invest every year. Then you could break this down into like 3 deals, 2 deals a year, or different cash flow and appreciation tiers, and you're able to plan that way. Have a much more concise plan of where you want to go. So these are some of the tools that we're developing. And guys, look out for 2025. As long as we identify the needs, from our community. We're going to go out there and figure out how to make it happen. So look out for more tools coming your way. And the other thing that we did, I know you guys, if you've been part of the XSITE platform, you see the colors changed a little bit. So it's the whole new rebranding of XSITE Capital into the new era. We made some changes, brought in some experts to look at our branding and provided solutions. So the whole goal of everything that we do is to provide a more um, exquisite user experience to you, our investors, to provide a ton more value to you, our investors, and to continue to attract more people that could gain value from what we provide here at XSITE Capital to the community. So earlier in 2024, we launched a course for everybody that was looking to get into the multifamily space from the active side or passive side. We have gone back and we have refurbished and repurposed this course, made it even better, making more of a structured educational workflow where you go in from one lesson to another, you're able to take a test. Really, really in-depth course that goes into different concepts that it comes to multifamily investing. A great introductory course for passive investor or an active investor that gets you to understand what these assets are and how you could invest in it. Now, we know we're not always going to have an asset to present to you to invest in. We want you to be educated so that when you have the resources and you want to invest in another deal, you know how to invest in this deal. So that is one of the purposes of providing this education to our investors. Again, we want you to learn, understand, and invest and continue to grow your wealth. So this is one of the things that we did in 2024. And in 2024 as well, we had conversations and we sat down and talked about, and how can we get this message more to members of our community? And one of our team members came up with a brilliant idea of creating this song, the Beyond 9 to 5 anthem, which is available on YouTube as well, and it's been doing really well on YouTube. A lot of people are listening to it and giving amazing feedback. So again, the song just talks about that mindset, that mind frame that we were in, that most of us are in, on a daily basis on the grind, and helps us reframe that grind, that 9 to 5, right? From being this hole that we're stuck in to being the platform that we could use to step into unlimited growth. What we're doing here at XSITE Capital is explaining the same things that we've done to be able to achieve this growth and be able to bring it to members of our community. So the song is there. I will drop the link in the chat as well. Feel free to listen to it anytime. But when I listen to it one time, I will not stop listening to it. So, and most importantly of all, has been the team. And when I'm talking about the team, I'm not just talking about our team members here at XSITE Capital. I'm talking about some of the people that have stepped up, and given us the opportunity to be part of their growth journey as well. On the slide here, you have 3 groups that are really special to us, and we have many others that we cannot fit in the slide. Highlighting Dr. Lajide, who is on the call here with us. Dr. Lajide is a special person because we met Dr. Lajide after he just lost money on another syndication, right? And he lost money from a syndication, and from that syndication, nobody was able to tell him exactly what happened. And we spent some time with Dr. Lajide explaining to him exactly what happened. And he's a very experienced investor himself, having over $33, very experienced, very prominent doctor, $33 that have been doing it himself, but a lot of times there are a lot of other options out there that people can go in and invest in. But a lot of times, unfortunately, some of the stories that we've heard about communication is not the greatest. And that seemed to be one of these cases. So we just came out here to kind of explain, as any member of our community, give him the back end perspective of what might have happened with that asset. And Dr. Lajide has been what we'll call maybe like an icon in the XSITE Capital community. He came in and said, I see this vision, I see what you guys are doing. I want to be part of it, and I'm all in, and I want to be part of it. And boy, oh boy, now I call him Dr. Lajide the legend because he truly is legendary. And it gives me nothing fulfills me more than to be able to see the growth, to see other members of our community benefiting from what we are building and coming in and contributing so that we could help to grow this better and provide more value to other people. And that's a similar story with Dr. Nkemi Mama, who we met back in 2022. She's become an amazing force of nature herself. CEO, now CEO of Phoenix Capital, doing amazing things and partnering with us on Growth Park View. Then we have Leah and Jeremy of Priority One Capital. Leah is my classmate from CRNA school. That saw one of the posts I made about 9 to 5 and the grind. And Leah and I, we were not the smartest in the class, so her and I, we used to work extremely hard to keep up with everybody else. I don't know, it's maybe because we just didn't. We got into CRNA school. We were more of the older side in the class than most of our classmates, but we worked really hard and stayed in touch. And to have the opportunity to be able to work with Leah and help her build this platform has been amazing. So those are some of the things that we did in 2024 that we're super proud of. So here's what 2025 is looking like. Looking back at 2024, been a challenging year, but a lot of growth in the year. We put in a lot of work and a lot of efforts to bring a significant amount of value to our community. We challenged ourselves that it is time to bring to our community institutional grade assets that we can manage very well and give our investors the same level of value that other institutions are getting. And we did that. We brought Growth Park View to our investors. And despite all the challenges that we had with capital raising, the headwind, the changes in the market, and like I mentioned in the beginning of the call, I'm really happy to report that we've passed the $19 million mark in commitment, and have raised all the capital that is needed to close the deal. So we could not be more proud of that achievement. And again, there's absolutely no way we would have been able to do it without members of this amazing community. Now, going into 2025, our goal is to use the lessons that we've gained in 2024, all the hard work, to build something even bigger and continue to give a significant amount of value to our community. And that starts at the bottom of the pyramid with the transformation. You know, the journey of growth usually starts with the mind. It starts with us as our understanding and our knowledge. And that's where we're going to invest a significant amount of time and value to be able to continue to educate members of our community about the possibility of thinking beyond your 9 to 5, about the ability that you have. Because if you think about it, a lot of members of our community are amazing professionals. These are people that have done really well in their individual respective careers. I'm talking about doctors that were top of their class in school in order to become physicians. In their fields, like some of the people that I've gotten to speak with on this journey, I'm just amazed at how much they've been able to accomplish. You know, so and once a lot of these people, once they see that there's way more beyond that 9 to 5 and able to expand their mind to some of the things that we see out there, they do amazing. We could do so much more together. And trust me, guys, we've gone out there, we've gone to some of these spaces, we've met some of these guys, and I can guarantee you that a lot of them are not as smart as you are. You know, but they just have that faith, they have that courage to go out there and step in. So that's the transformation that we aim to build with members of our Beyond 9 to 5 community. And I'm also happy to report that in 2025 we're going to be launching a podcast. So we're going to be having a lot of you here on that podcast to come and share your stories so that others too can see, can learn, and be able to be inspired to work and push forward. So we continue to grow and support each other. We're going to continue to invest in tools and build more tools that would enhance the investor experience. You know, we are not where we want to be yet, and we're going to continue working until we get there. So from communication to automation to making sure that our investors are aware and have in-depth knowledge of everything that's going on in their assets, we're going to be doing that in 2025. One of the things that we're doing to enhance the investor experience is to encourage investor tours. Make sure that you are investors, you go and see these assets that you invested in so that you see, touch and feel what you invested in. You know, so we're working on that as well. And our goal for 2025 is to acquire 4 new assets. That is 4 new properties that we're going to be bringing into our investor base as well. So we're going to be taking all these lessons, all the resources that we built in 2024 into 2025 to bring you 4 new amazing opportunities as well. And we're going to continue pushing on the webinars, the monthly webinars, and maybe even bi-weekly webinars on education. We're going to be doing our monthly meetups that we're doing like this one. Then we're going to be doing more educational stuff on the Beyond 9 to 5 Club. And again, if you are an XSITE investor, you get 100% free access to this community. So capitalize on this, take advantage of it. Please, if you haven't registered yet, go ahead and sign up. That's one of the benefits you get from being an investor. And you get monthly newsletters on everything that's happening at XSITE. And for the investors, you're going to get monthly updates on what's happening in your properties. That includes the property financials. And if you review any of those, you have any questions, we're going to be expanding our investor relations team as well, so that you have more people to talk to that can walk you through this process as well. And we're going to be doing the quarterly calls for each of our properties so that you can get on these calls and ask questions. You know, we want to make ourselves accessible to you. We don't want you to invest and feel like you are blind to what's happening to your assets. So we encourage questions. We encourage you to challenge us, challenge our assumptions, ask questions, dig in deep, because so that we want to make sure that we're providing a significant amount of value to you as well. We are investing heavily in automation. And you guys, I'm sure you've heard about AI coming in. So we're investing in that. We have team members that spend a lot of time understanding AI and seeing how we could use that to enhance our processes. But on top of that, the other thing that we're doing with AI is to take all the noise about AI that is out there and identify the tools and systems that are useful to you, our investors and members of the Beyond 9 to 5 Club, to create maybe tools or frameworks that you could use for yourself as well. So look out for more stuff coming out on that. One of the other things that we did in 2024 that we're pushing in 2025 as well is privacy and security. We're investing heavily in enhancing that our security and privacy of our investors' data is secured. We moved to a more secure portal on the investor side, which has streamlined the investor process as well. And we continue to do that. We continue to monitor that. We are blessed that one of our co-founders, Tenny Tolofari, is a cybersecurity expert. So he invests a lot of time. I call him the cyber police commissioner, because he invests a lot of time to make sure that we are streamlined in that process as well. And we are going to continue to invest in softwares and any tools or anything that make streamline the investor process and make all of this experience better for your investors. So, great quote by Frank Howard Clark: "We find comfort amongst those who agree with us, and growth amongst those who don't." So we are very open for feedback, very open for communication. Our goal is to get better and continue to provide value. XSITE Capital, when we started this company, the dream is to build a $5 billion company. We have only acquired 168 million of assets. After growth pack view, maybe 200 million. So we're still a long way to go. There's still a lot of work to be done. And there's no way that we can do it without your feedback, without hearing from you, without your support, without your trust. So we welcome your feedback, we welcome your criticism. So anything that we could do to improve, to make this platform better for you, please welcome it. And as you can see, this is the XSITE team. We started 2024 with fewer team members than you see on this picture. The reason why we went back and brought in more people is because we want to continue to provide this value to you. In any business, anything that you do, it's all about the people, right? And we are very blessed to have quality people in the team and continue to improve. If you can see all the improvements, all the things that are happening on the back end at XSITE Capital, it is because of the team that you have in place. This team has done some amazing work, from building proprietary underwriting tools that help us speed up the underwriting process, that helped us to be able to review 2,000 deals in the same period of time that all the big institutions were probably not going to be able to do, to rebranding, building our brand, being able to provide more streamlined communications to our investors, to more personable approach to our investors, to have our bookings more structured, like making sure that every bookings that we have with our investors is more structured, increasing the show up rates, to marketing more, putting us more out there on social media, to finding more deals, building relationship with brokers, breaking into these circles, like fighting with other institutional investors, working hard every day. All of this has been done by the team that you see in place. And the team continues to grow. As a matter of fact, if you know any people that are good at sales and investor, we're looking to expand our investor relations team as well. So if you know anybody, if it's your family member and you're an investor at XSITE Capital, please send them our way. We're going to continue expanding our team and identifying those needs and being able to provide that value. Again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to me this evening. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this journey with the goal of providing institutional grade assets to you, members of our community. On behalf of our CEO, Dr. Julius Oni, my other partner, Tenny Tolofari, our entire team at XSITE Capital, we want to say thank you. We thank you so much for your trust and support. And we plan to continue to work extremely hard to provide this great amount of value to you. We are just getting started, guys. The next 2 years in the multifamily phase, like most people call it, is the accumulation phase, because the discounts that we're going to be seeing in the market are unprecedented. This is our time to create wealth for our families. This is our time to acquire great assets and provide generational wealth for our family. And I know getting each and every one of these assets is not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park like it has been on some of the assets. There's going to be challenges along the way, but you guys can rest assured, you can sleep well at night, knowing that you have a team that will go out there and work diligently hard for you every single day, and always put your interest first in everything that we do. On that note, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to answer the questions in the chat. But before I do that, I just want to take the opportunity to say happy holidays to you and your entire family. And again, I hope 2024 has been a great year for you all. And I wish you guys a very prosperous 2025. And I know it's going to be a great year for all of us also. On that note, I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll open it up for questions. It looks like we already had some questions in the chat, so we can go in and answer some of those questions. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm seeing some great. Any questions, guys? No question. Wow. All right, go ahead, Mohammed. Mohammed, go ahead, brother. Can he unmute himself and ask the question? I see my brother over there, Mr. Terry English, and that handsome gentleman. Mohammed, you should be able to on.
It looks like Mohammed have $3 million to give us to close up the race.
Remaining $3 million. Go ahead, Mohammed. Oh, you have a question about the remaining 3 million. So we continue to raise on the remaining 3 million. As you know, the equity on Growth Parkview, part of the equity is geared towards closing the deal. The other part of the equity is like for the reserve funds and for the capex. So the total equity needed to close the deal and take over the deal was at 18.3 million. So we have way past that number. So, but we're going to continue to raise capital for the deal. Even after we close the deal, we're going to continue to raise capital. Right now, we resubmitted for the loan reassumption process, so we're just waiting to hear back from the lender. We continue to raise, and investors keep coming in. Investors keep coming in. So it's still a great deal. So if you know anyone that is looking to jump in on a deal, it's still open. So, but the pace at which the investment is picking up, I think we'll wrap up the remainder of that raise in a few weeks.
There's a question from Ifoma. Sorry, I was late, and thanks for this information. When are you closing the property?
So we are the tentative close date was December 31st, but we are waiting on the lender right now to come back to us and let us know. We've submitted everything. The lender required us to show proof that we've raised the full amount needed for the deal to close, which we've provided to the lender. And now they're supposed to come back to us and give us the specific finalized timeline. The challenge, I don't know what is it about December or holidays. It seems like nobody wants to work. Everybody email is like an auto response. So we are hoping to hear back from them tomorrow or at latest Thursday or Friday. And our investors will all be informed on the finalized closing timeline. Merry Christmas to you too, Dr. Okoye. Again, thank you so much, guys. I cannot appreciate you all enough. I see a lot of familiar names over here because a lot of you are investors in 1, 2, or 3 of our deals. And again, there's absolutely no way that we do this without you guys. So we are here. Please, we are accessible. You have any questions, reach out to us. Any member of the team. The ethos here at XSITE Capital, every team member knows that XSITE Capital does not exist without you all. We made it a mission to go out there and continue to serve you, and we're going to continue to do that. We're just getting started on this journey, guys. I know sometimes it might feel like we've done a lot, but I can tell you the amount of opportunity that we see, the amount of value that we see that we could bring to this community, the amount of value that I see we could unlock by working together. We are just getting started. We're just scratching the surface. And again, and if you are in the audience as well, you want to take on this journey as well, and you want to go out there and do exactly what we're doing. One of the goals that we have is to create other platforms like XSITE Capital. That's exactly what we're doing with Phoenix Capital. That's what we're doing with Dr. Lajide. So if you have the urge to go out there and do the same work, please come, reach out to us. We'll get you started on that journey as well. Mr. Tucker, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining. And please, we're going to be sending surveys out. I know sometimes we can inundate you with emails. Please give us feedback. Give us feedback so we can make this platform better for you. We are here to serve. Merry Christmas to you as well, Nataki. And thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. Obi, pound back to you. All right. Thank you so much, Ashley. Good seeing you again. And we'll welcome all your feedback, guys. All right, people. Would you be sending out the tape video? Yes, ma'am. You will get a recording of this presentation. You're welcome, Sarah. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you so much for joining. Dr. Nkemeze Mama, thank you. Thank you so much. The year was amazing because you were part of it too. Thank you. All right, guys. Planning on any more? Yes, there's going to be property tours, and they will be announced. And at any time, you don't have to wait for like a scheduled tour. As an investor of XSITE Capital, guys, you don't have to wait for a scheduled tour to tour the property. If you want to tour any of our assets at any point in time, just let us know. We'll either come there with you or we'll make it happen for you. Remember, you are an investor. You are part owner of this asset. So at any time you want to see it, let us know. We'll make sure you go there and see the asset, and you have the team on site tour you around the property. And we're going to be doing official tours for investors as well. So feel free to join. Again, there are a lot of more exciting things that we have in the plans that we're bringing in the future. But again, keep stay in touch. We'll let you know. Dr. Cho, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And thank you for joining. And happy holidays to you as well and your family. All right, and maybe the next tour we'll do is Grove Park View after we close because it's such a beautiful and large property. So guys, look out for that. After we close Grove Park View, we're gonna have like a really nice. The property has a very nice leasing office as well. We'll have a really nice event because this is the one. This is one asset that challenged us, pushed us to work extremely hard, but we did it. We did it. We did it. We did it because of you guys. Because we have a team. Like we have, just a side note, we have had several conversations with other investors, even institutional investors. And when they hear the amount of money that we've been able to raise within this period of time, in this climate, in this season that we're in, they are super impressed. They are super impressed by what that we are even able to raise this kind of capital, but there's no way we would have done it without you guys. So regardless of how slow this whole process has been, everybody, if you're a Growth Pack V investor and you're part of this call, again, kudos to you. Like I congratulate you for taking the lead and for joining on this journey, because what we have done, and after we close this asset, what we have done here, is there's going to be a lot of stories written about it. And trust me, it hasn't been an easy journey. As you can see, my hairline shifted from where it was at right here to back here. And I told Tenny that he might have to pay for me to take a trip to Turkey to fix it. So, but what we have done here has been an amazing challenge that we took upon. But we're making it happen with your collaboration and with your partnership. And again, we can't thank you enough. There'll be many more opportunities along the way, so let's keep working together. And again, please, if you have any questions, any concerns or anything, reach out to any one of us. Any one of us, we're accessible to you. We're here to serve you. Tenny, did you want to add anything else before I close it up?
Maybe you don't want me to talk because if I start, I won't stop. So you can just wrap it up. But I just want to thank everybody for joining. So you can wrap it up.
All right, guys. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. We're wrapping up the year, going into 2025. And 2025 is going to be a great year because we're walking into 2025 with you. We're walking into 2025 together, and let's continue to support each other. Let's continue to grow together. And thank you so much for being part of the XSITE Capital platform. And we look forward to making 2025 even better than 2024. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and have a good night, everybody.
Take care, buddy.
Wake up early, catch the morning train. Same routine playing like a broken refrain. Monday to Friday, clock just ticks away. Years are passing while my dreams fade away. 9 to 5, eating up my life. 9 to 5, cutting like a knife. But I refuse to let it be my story. I'm turning pain into glory. Started learning, staying after hours, becoming wise, gaining hidden powers. Every meeting became my classroom, yeah. Every challenge showed me who I am. Took the system that held me down, flipped it over, now I wear the crown. Experience became my greatest tool. Now I'm teaching others all these rules. 9 to 5, transform my life. 9 to 5, cutting like a knife. But I refuse to let it be my story. I'm turning pain into glory. 9 to 5, eating up my life. 9 to 5, cutting it like a knife, but I refuse to let it be my story. I'm turning pain into glory. Started learning, staying after hours, becoming wise, gaining hidden powers. But I refuse to let it be my story. I'm turning pain into glory. Started learning to glory. Started learning to glory. Started learning to glory. Started learning, stay learning, it came my town. Be gone, leaving it behind. Oh, oh, but I'm 9 to 5. Beyond, beyond, beyond the grind. Beyond, beyond, leaving it behind. Oh, oh, but I'm 9 to 5.